she is. Champion. I'm so excited. Sometimes when we find leopards, it makes my day every time. Now she's just admiring our repeater station, sitting on top of a termite mound. Do you see her, Seb? So epic. I'm so excited. Well done, girl. Now I'm going to try and get myself in here somehow. I think this way is going to be better, Seb, and we've got to try and avoid knocking down our repeater station, which is already... And look, Cub is also here. They're both here. I'm so happy. How cool is this, everyone? What a way to start our day. Now, I didn't know if we were going to find them, but look, there's little Cub on the right and Mom on top. How cool is this? And look at how big the little one is, and so relaxed as well. Very chilled. There we go. Playtime. How awesome. Epic. I knew this was a good choice to come down. Well done, Seb. So cool. Just really going to look forward to actually trying to spend the morning with Shadow and Cub, because I haven't actually spent too much time with them. So I would love to spend a little bit more time and actually just get to hang around with them. The times that I have spent with Shadow's Cub has been an absolute sort of rush because it's been on Arethusa and lots of vehicles. But this morning we are here on Juma, and it is quiet this morning because there are 2 cheetah up in the north in Buffelshoek, which is pulling everyone that way. And so that means we're going to get a nice prolonged quiet period with our lady and her little one. And look at her, look at the little one just watching us. Now, this little one is not that confident around vehicles moving through the bush, as you can see, while it trots away there and just goes and hides behind the grass. But the interesting thing is that when yesterday we were with her, she was in no way scared of us while we were parked there, and she was very chilled. And so I think with one vehicle and this little time that we're going to be able to spend is going to be valuable in being able to relax this little Cub a little bit, particularly with our vehicles, because remember, our vehicles don't look the same as everybody else's. We've got big aerial on the top, and well, the 2 of us look a little bit different, a shorter wheelbase, and so it's a slightly more different sort of situation. Now, Alice, I know you asked me about when will Shadow's Cub be named, but I didn't get the name of the person. I think you said Barbara, was it? No, that's the name of Shadow's Cub. No, I'm joking. That's what... Exquisite Bliss. That's right. So Exquisite Bliss, Shadow's Cub will probably only be named at about a year old. So it's only 6 months old now. It's still got to go a little bit longer. And the reason why they only get named at that time, oh, look, they're playing. This is going to be such a nice sighting. I just want to try and get round a little bit closer to them. But Shadow was stalking the little one and running. Now, the reason why they only get named at a year old is because there's such a high mortality in leopard cubs. And, well... Okay, wait. There we go. Look at that light on this beautiful little one. Hello, girl. Yes, you are very pretty. A bit wet from the dew and the mist. There she goes, bounding away. And she's going to bound after Mom, who's in front here. I think we're in for an epic morning of playtime with these 2. I hope so, because it really is so cool to find them. I'm so excited. And so I was saying that they only get named at a year because of the sort of high mortality rate. And so once they get to a year old, it's kind of deemed that they will be able to look after themselves and be able to sort themselves out. And there we go. They've just joined up on that pathway. Sorry, Seb, I know. Let me go forward a little bit. But look at them. Aren't they beautiful in this golden light? And you can see why that cub is difficult to spot. Look at that. Once it's in the grass, it disappears completely. But Shadow is moving just to the left here, so I'm going to try and keep up with her more than I want to try and keep up with the cub. Hopefully Shadow's going to go on to, there's a big termite mound here. Well, not big, but it's a termite mound nonetheless, and hopefully she'll be just like what we saw just now, where she went up onto the mound and decided just to survey her landscape. And so I'm hoping we're going to have the same situation again. Indeed we do. Now, Seb, we're going to try and see if we can't just get through here. No, Mom, stay, because if you go, then the little one goes. Now, the problem is I've got a big branch in front, and I don't want to chase the little one, so I'm going to wait for little one to catch up with Mom before I go around. This is so cool. Now, I hope you're all enjoying this as much as I am, because, well, spending time with these two spotted beauties is never the worst way for a Friday to start. So Feline Friday, off with a bang. Are you going to come bounding after Mom? No, you've decided you're going the opposite way. You're going to be on your own little mission. And Mom is now rolling in some dung, so she's just off to my left-hand side rolling in dung, and I think the little one will come. Let's just go forward a bit, Seb, and maybe the little one will come back to Mom if we just park here while she rolls around in the dung itself. There we go. Look, she's busy rolling, and this is all just to hide her scent or mask her scent. Once she gets that bit of dung onto her, it will help with just masking scent. And there comes little one. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's not the greeting you want from Mum early in the morning. That's Mom telling her, this is my dung, don't you come and mark yourself on this dung. Also remember that when she's rolling on that, even though that scent of the dung is getting onto her and is going to mask her scent slightly, she's also leaving a scent on the dung itself. So it's almost a way that she can mark territory. You'll find sometimes that leopards will go up to trees and rub their heads on trees. It's the same thing as what she's doing here. So even though it's not a tree itself, that dung will be there for quite a while, and any other leopard that walks past here is going to pick up that scent and know that this is it dung? It looks like dung. Maritza, you asking whether or not Shadow and Tundi have taken control of Karula's territory. Well, I don't think taken control can be the right word just yet. That doesn't look like dung.
I think it's an old kill, eh?
An old kill?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I wonder what it is. We'll have to try and see. But not just yet, I don't think. You know, Shadow, where she is right now, is where she was when Karula was around. She used to walk around in this area quite a bit. We're right up on the boundary of Arethusa, and this is typical where Shadow used to kind of spend a lot of time. So there's really, I don't think, sort of any sign of her taking over yet. Yesterday, where she pushed into, is definitely deeper into Karula's territory than she's probably been in a long time, and while Tundi has pushed very far, I don't think they've necessarily set up their territories there yet, but they are kind of moving into those areas and are slowly but surely sort of edging in. And I think over time, if we see in about 6 months' time, I reckon both of them will have pushed quite deep in, and we'll have a situation where they will both have taken over some section of Karula's territory. So they are starting to push more and more. It is interesting to see how they're moving in, and it's already taken 3-4 months for them to start getting into those places. And now that they've realized that there's no leopard that's calling or making any noise, they've then decided to kind of push on and get into these areas and try and take over it for themselves. Seb, is it not a branch? No, it's an old kill. It's a skull.
Look.
It's a skull. There we go. I wonder, you know what this could be? This could be the zebra skull from that zebra kill we had the other day. Now, where the Angama pride, that zebra carcass was, I would say, maybe about 800 meters to our south. And so we know that hyenas will often pick up things and play and move them around. And so I think maybe this is the top half of that zebra skull that's been dragged all the way up this way, and now they're just rubbing all over it. You're going to stink, little one. You don't want to rub on that. No. Don't be like Mom. It must be quite a good scratching post because it's got lots of sort of hard edges, perfect to scrape one's face on. So Anna, you say Shadow's little cub rivals Tumbo with her big ears. Well, yes, they do. When they're young like this, everything looks too big for them. Are you having fun, little one? Hey? Yes, you are. That is the face of naughtiness. Now, yeah, their paws look too big, their ears look too big, eyes look too big, but they all grow into it eventually. You can see Tumbo already is starting to grow into his ears and his sort of paws, but this little one is super cute. Are you enjoying yourself? That is so cool. Are you having fun? Kirk, you say it's like a new cat toy. Indeed. Look, little one has decided this is now mine. Shadow, I don't even know where she is. I think she's disappeared off into the distance. I can't see her anymore. But I'm sure she'll eventually call the cub and it will go bounding off. But for now, this little cub has decided this is my skull. Nobody else will have the skull. And I shall play with it and have fun with it. And, well, there we go. I'm sure Mom has just called. And that's why the little one's bounding off. She at least is a bit obedient. And look at that fat belly that I was talking about yesterday. You can see it bobbing around as it runs off. It's so cool. Seb, what a way to start our day.
What a time, what a time.
And as Megan, who is in final control, her catchphrase in life is, what a time to be alive. Well, there we go, Megan, what a time to be alive. And I'm going to try and avoid the chew toy and the cat toy, because I'm sure that will be used again at some point. But it is most definitely our zebra skull. And what is very interesting, Seb, I'm going to try and just position ourselves. I don't want to lose these leopards, so we're going to do this quite quickly. But look at how much damage hyenas have done to that skull. It is really quite amazing. That whole top half has just been crunched apart. So everything has been broken down, and that is the power of a hyena's jaw. To go through bone like that is no mean feat at all. Wow, quite amazing that they can do that. Very, very cool to see. And it smells very bad, so we are onward and forward, because I can't really stomach that right now. I don't feel like it, and we're going to lose these two leopards quite quickly if I don't try and catch up with them. Smell nice, Seb? Oh, sorry, Shadow, I didn't even see you here. I thought you had gone a long way away. Sorry, my girl. I was looking for where your cub was, but you've decided to lie right here. There we go. Okay. There we go, there she is. So you can see the camouflage process is so good with these cats in this grass that you actually have to be very careful when you're driving off-road, especially following them, is because when they lie down, they just disappear and you can't actually see them. Oh, somebody has gotten it all this morning. Somebody is full of beans and has woken up on the right side of bed, and it is that little one, because she is bouncing around all over the place. She almost looks a bit like Tigger, bouncing on her tail at the moment. There we go. Wow. This is so cool. Now, let's try and get through all the monkey orange. I don't want to destroy Rusty's brake pipes, because we've had a few issues with Rusty in the last few weeks, so we don't want to damage Rusty anymore, so got to be a little careful. Now, we're going to carry on with our spotted beauties and spend some more time with this beautiful cub and Shadow. But watch now, they're going to jump on one another. There they go. They're just running off into the distance. So while we try and relocate and try and find them again, let's go all the way across to my good friend Scotty, who I'm so glad is back. I haven't seen Scott in a while, and well, Scott was one of the first guys that I met in the bush, because I did my training at Singita and he was there, and so really cool to see him back. But I believe he's on his way to another predator's kill site. Side of the...
Yeah, you see that green bush?
Yeah.
To the right hand side of that green bush by the termite mound.
Okay.
That's where I saw this.
Okay. Cool. Well, maybe it'll pop up onto the mound, Bria, and then we'll...
Live, huh?
Are we live?
Yeah.
Ah, sorry, guys. I've pulled out my earpiece, so I'm not even hearing Alice, so apparently we're live, and, well, I didn't know, so I do apologize about that. Now, Shadow and Cub is just off to our right, but Seb says he thought he saw another leopard close by, so it looks like there might be a third leopard here, but we can't see it just yet. It was walking in the distance, and he said to me, the cub has run that way, and I said to him, no, the cub is right here with the Shadow, and he's like, no, there's a leopard there. So what I'm going to try and do is the two of them have settled now, so I want to just quickly go around that side and see if we can't find this mystery leopard and see who that is. We know now where they are, and so I'll be able to find them again quite easily. That shouldn't be too much of a stress to find them, and looks like they're starting to settle for the day. So let's go around here. Seb, you're just going to need to guide me as to where we're going.
Yeah, but we use that termite mound and go right to the right of that termite mound.
Okay. Let's see quickly here. So I'm going to just try and get towards this termite mound and see what you saw. I was hoping if it was another leopard it was going to bounce into the termite mound, or we'd be able to see it here somewhere. It's nice and open, so if it is here we're going to find it quite quickly.
More or less that way.
That way, okay.
Like this,
Just careful your head, Yasef. Now we're going to try to see if we can't find this mystery cat and see where it is and what it's doing. And while we do that, let's go to Ali and see how she's doing with her male line search. We haven't found our mysterious leopard yet, so we're going to go back to Shadow and Cub and just sit with them and hope that our mysterious leopard comes to us. Maybe it could be Hosana or Shungile. We know Hosana was around where Shadow was a few days ago, although now I can't find Shadow and Cub either. Seb, where did we have them? Was it a little bit further back here, I think? This is the only problem with trying to sort of go back. And in this grass, they just disappear so quickly. Now I'm trying to find where they are. There they are, I can see them. They're on top of the mound. They've moved a little bit. But I don't know, it could be Shungile or Hosana that maybe has followed these two. Or maybe this is your mystery leopard on the mound itself, Seb. Although they were here, this is where they were now, I can remember exactly. But they're on the mound and it's a beautiful visual. So Lynn, you're asking if we've seen Shungile lately. We did indeed. Ali had Shungile 2 days ago. I think it was 2 or 3 days ago at Treehouse Dam, and was with Hosana at that stage. Well, not with, but they were in close proximity to one another. And so it was a beautiful sighting of Shungile up on the termite mound. Oh, much like what this is. Isn't that spectacular? Wow. And little cub is just underneath mom. You can see its ear sticking out on the right side of her body. There we go. And Shadow is now going to come down. Seb, I'm going to go forward because the light is going to be fantastic on their faces. Just watch yourself there. There we go. How's that for amazing? For screenshots, there we go. Her coming down the mound is going to be perfect. Beautiful. Where's your little one? I expect this dive bomb from the termite mound the way the little one has been behaving this morning. Yep, there we go. And off we go. Still not 100% convinced about us at this stage. Still kind of sneaks around and moves around a little bit, but is getting better, that's for sure. And far better than the last time I saw it. It was a little bit more skittish, and that's because there was a few more vehicles in what we are now. It's just us at the moment, and that means that she's fairly relaxed, and well, Shadow's pretty chilled as well. Now, if there was another leopard, hopefully her being up on the mound, that other leopard would have seen her and will maybe then start to move this way. But I'm just going to stay with her because it's so easy to lose them in this thicket, and they're so playful that I would rather just stay with them for now. And if another leopard shows up, well, that will just be an extra bonus. What do you think, Seb?
Yes, leopard though.
Seb was doubting himself for a second. He's like, I can't have dreamed it. Don't worry, Seb, it's okay. It's like Ali trying to doubt us hearing a lion. We most definitely heard it as well. And hopefully our lion will be somewhere on Juma. Maybe it's that one that we had the tracks for on Vuatela Access that we're going south. Look at the little tail of this one. You are very cute. Hopefully it's going to be sticking around a lot more with us over the coming months, because I really would love to spend a lot of time with this one. It seems such a character, this little cub. Now, it seems like I was talking about earlier, Rusty having a few issues here and there. Well, it seems like we've lost our brakes again, which is just a slow leak in the brake cable, and then when we go over these monkey oranges, it often causes a bit of a problem. So it's probably going to just have to be without brakes for the morning, which is fine. It's not so bad. We can just use our gears to sort that out. Okay, Okay, let's see if she's going to go up this. There we go. So Chitty Chatty Meg, you asking whether their caution of humans is learnt or is instinct? Well, most of it is instinct, because these leopards know that when they're young, that they're susceptible to being hurt and being preyed upon. Look at her tail. Watch if she's going to pounce on the cub. You can see her tail is twitching. Where's the cub now? The cub is on the other side of that mound. No, I thought she might pounce on the cub. There we go. And off they went. You two are quite cool together, I must be honest. Now, they, as cubs, know that they're going to be preyed upon and be sort of very susceptible to other predators and be under threat a lot of the time, and that means that they need to be very, very careful. And so they've got this instinct that they must hide and they must stay hidden and not really move around too much. And that's where their caution comes from. You'll also find with mom, when she approaches certain situations that are dangerous, she will indicate to those cubs by sort of pushing them off, growling at them to hide, and they learn from their mom that when something is wrong or something that they're not sure of, it's time to go and run and hide. So it's a bit of learnt versus a bit of instinct, but the instinct is there that they need to be wary. And in leopards, they are shy, reclusive cats. They know that their sort of way of life is to be stealthy and ambush predators, and so that's why they often slink around, and as babies that is just amplified, and that's why they often are a little bit shy. Playtime is not over by the looks of it. Laurie, you're asking if Hosanna would ever harm Shadow's cub. Well, most definitely if he got a bit older. Now at this stage, no. He seems to be just inquisitive about it. I think given that he's still a young leopard, he's not really sure about all of these processes, and so he just kind of wants to see who's who and watch what's going on. But as he gets a little bit older, you'll find that he'll be a threat to cubs of this size, because as a male leopard, well, if he hasn't mated with that female, he'll then kill those cubs to bring that female into heat. So it is going to be a situation where he'll be dangerous at some point, but for now, it seems he's just curious. He just wants to see who these leopards are and just kind of make friends, really. He's not a leopard that chases other leopards yet. He's not big enough and strong enough to dominate any of these females or dominate any other leopards at this stage. And so even if he tried to come for that cub, Shadow, I think, would give him quite a hiding and cause him to be in somewhat sort of sheepish and chase him out of there. So he won't try too much, I don't think. So Nancy, you want to say, can we say that Shadow is the new queen of Juma? Well, no, Nancy, I don't think we can say that just yet. While Shadow is been around in this area and she is spending a bit of time here now, she really doesn't spend that much time here yet. And, well, Tundi has probably been deeper into Juma recently than what Shadow has. So, no, not yet. I don't think you can make that call just yet. I would imagine that it's still going to be a while until these leopards settle down a little bit and actually become very sort of territorial, and we only kind of call them Queen of Juma when we see them a lot more regularly than what we're seeing them at the moment, because at the moment, you know, our sightings of Shadow are very few and far between. We've had, I would imagine probably this is only the 4th or 5th sighting we've had of this cub on Juma itself. In fact, that might be a gross overestimation as well. Now I'm just sorting Rusty's steering wheel out as well, because Rusty's steering wheel has got a little rubber cover to stop all the stickiness and black stuff coming off of it, and that just slipped off. So I was just putting that back on. But in no way have these leopards spent enough time yet to be considered the queens of Juma. So between the two of them, I would imagine at some point, yes, but at the moment, no. Where are you, Shadow? Oh, there you are. At least she's chosen a nice friendly kind of way to walk at this stage. She's walked through fairly sort of nice bush. It hasn't been too thick along the way. which has been fantastic for us. It's actually not a bad area, this, and it's such a big block. That's why we often struggle to find her here. We find her tracks here regularly, but inside this you can see it's so thick and so difficult to track her in this that you've got to be very lucky if you want to bump into her. And you can see we're about to pop out onto Zoe's now. So here we go, we're on Zoe's road and going straight over Zoe's by the looks of it, according to Shadow. Are you going to go that way, my girl? And just a quick little look around, make sure the coast is clear. There you go, calls the cub now to tell the cub she can come out. So James, you're wondering what would happen if Shadow and Tundi met. You see, she's calling the cub now. She's saying to the cub, it's safe, you can come into the open, don't worry, all is okay. Now, James, if the two of them met, I'm just going to go forward and get us onto the road as well, so that when the cub comes out, we get a nice clear view of both her and the cub. So, there we go, like that. Is that better, Seb? James, there will be probably quite an aggressive interaction between the two of them. Ultimately, they're both adult females competing for territory and space, and both of them have cubs and young ones to be careful of. And so that's going to mean that they're going to really try and sort of push away any competition. And even though they're sisters, that sort of past is now gone. They've not been together for probably now close on 7 years, and so it means, or actually even longer, maybe closer to 8 years, and so their bond is completely broken. They probably don't really want to have anything to do with each other, and I would imagine it would be quite an aggressive situation if the two did join. Oh, but isn't this fantastic? Her grooming in this golden light. It's about as good as it gets. See, we've got a passenger on our vehicle as well, Seb, that I'm going to just try and get rid of quickly, because this is not a passenger we want, and it's the same one that Seb had on his cap a few weeks ago when we were on a bushwalk. It's a big hairy caterpillar that is landed next. We are indeed, Scotty, and we're having a great time with them. There has been playing, there has been bouncing, there has been moments of complete sort of chaos where cub has been running and jumping onto mom, and well, it's been very pleasant indeed. So it's been a cool morning to spend with them, and I suppose an epic morning would be a better way to describe it. To spend time with these two has been amazing. Now there's a hole right here on my right hand side over there, and our little cub at one point was about to disappear into there until mom said, no, you will not, because obviously inside there could be any number of dangerous things, from pythons to warthogs, and so she came and gave a little sort of growl, and cub then went running off before it went inside. It was quite funny to watch though. But it seems Rusty is really not doing very well at the moment. Rusty is now squeaking horrifically, as you might hear every now and then, so I do apologize about the squeaking. It's not very much I can do about it at this stage, so we're just going to try and see if we can't pump the brakes to get rid of it. Sounds like some dust that is on brake pads or something like that, and so we're going to try and see if we can't get rid of it somehow, but it really is not very pleasant, so I do apologize. Now, where they've gone means I've got to do quite a bit of a detour around at this stage. And there we go. As soon as we brake though, it seems to go away, so hopefully it will just kind of pass off and eventually the sound will go. It's not ideal though, particularly when we're trying to relax a young leopard. Hopefully at some point Rusty will decide to stop and our young leopard won't get too scared of what's going on. Where's Shadow? There's the young one. Oh, just trying to find where Shadow is, but there's our little one, is just in the long grass here off to my right. There we go. How cool is that? Amazing how they blend in. You'd think those spots would stand out, but you can see it really does help with the blending in process. Now, Mom will be here somewhere. I just need to find her. And so while we try and find Shadow again and keep up with our adventuring, exploring, spotted furball, let's go all the way back to Mr. Dyson, who's got some rather tall spotted creatures of his own. We have indeed, but there's going to be a changeover in the couch because I'm being doubted about whether or not I heard a lion roar, which, well, there's many things that I may not be able to hear, but lions roaring is not one of them. It was most definitely that, and, well, at least we've got the live footage to prove it, and Seb heard it too. Although, Seb, you spotted a leopard that wasn't there. Well, you lined yourself up for that one. Now, Shadow is just sort of doing a very odd pattern. She keeps zigzagging quite a bit. The cub is playing on our left-hand side and is busy up to no good on a termite mound, which has pretty much been the story of the morning. Shadow walking around and cub on termite mounds messing around. And look, it's even doing a little Fleming grimace. Isn't that cool? So it's obviously picked up the scent of another leopard on top of that mound, and it was doing a Fleming grimace like you would see from an adult leopard. That's cool. You are a little cutie, you know that. Now, Shadow is straight in front going towards the road, so I think I'm going to go back towards the road and just stick with Shadow there. Hopefully our little cub will get called out and we'll see a similar situation to what we saw just now when Shadow was on the road and just laid down and then started to call for her, and I'm hoping we're going to get the same situation again, because it was quite a nice moment when the little cub came bouncing out towards Mom, and Mom was stalking her and there was a little game that was had, so I'm hoping that's going to be the case again. I've just got to get back to the road. Oh, Shadow's gone straight over the road, so ruined that idea. Mercedes, you're wondering if Shadow is still nursing the cub. Well, Mercedes, not really, no. I haven't spent enough time to know. But this morning, most definitely not. They haven't. And I can't see too much milk on Shadow's belly. She might have, but I can't see any. That's not to say that she doesn't, and it's not to say that she isn't suckling, but she doesn't seem to be suckling the cub. The cub doesn't seem to be looking for milk, and it seems as though she was feeding quite heavily on meat yesterday. Now, Shadow's off to my right, and the cub is on my left, and the cub's still up towards the termite mound, so I was just waiting here to see if the little cub would come back down towards Mom, but it seems like the cub is too busy playing around on its termite mound, so I'm just going to stay with Shadow, because if we stay with Shadow, well, the cub will eventually join up with us again at some point. So I'm just going to try and get around this thicket, Seb. So Michael, you asking how many total litters Shadow has had. Michael, I'm, to be honest, not even sure anymore how many she's had. It is a lot though. I would say easily she's had 10 litters, maybe more. I've seen personally from Shadow, this one, then Sindila is 2, then the ones that she lost recently, so last year sometime, so that's 3, there was another 3 that I saw when I was at Chitwa, so that's 6, and then there must have been a period when I wasn't here that she had a few litters as well, so I would say probably 10, that's what my guess would be. I don't know. No, I don't think anyone knows for sure. She sometimes loses them so quickly that we're unsure of who they are fairly early on, so... Now it seems as though she's still kind of walking around, and I don't know what's shouting at her, because there's none of us, there was no alarm calls that I can hear, but you can see, look how she's holding her tail up, and that's probably because the cub's lagging behind a bit, so she's using that as a way of showing the cub where I am. Big tall tail, and that white will be easy for that cub to see wherever the little cub may be at this stage. She'll be able to then see that white tail bouncing through the bush and then come bounding along towards where Mom is. Unless that little one's going to spend the day on the termite mound, but I don't think so. And it's surprising because the last sort of while that we've been walking, every time the cub lags behind, Shadow actually just stops. She doesn't move around too much. And if she feels like the cub is too far, she then calls and the cub comes walking towards her. So I'm surprised that we're still walking and there's no sign of the cub. Maybe Shadow's decided that she's going to leave the cub there and mosey on along and see what else she can go and find. We are approaching our southern boundary fairly quickly, so I would imagine we'll be at the southern boundary within the next probably 10 minutes if we keep walking the way we are. So I don't know if she's maybe decided that that's where she's going to leave the cub and she's now going to continue and try and see if she can't go and find water, or potentially just go and check her territory while she's been off with the cub. And we know she was on a kill yesterday, so that means that she wasn't doing any territorial marking yesterday. Seb, it's going to be a bit of a bumpy ride through here. Just hold on. So Nikki, you're asking if there's a particular reason Shadow is moving around with the cub today. Well, Nikki, probably the biggest reason is that they were on a kill last night. They then got pushed off by look like either hyenas or the male lion, and so that's meant that she's now trying to just take her cub to a place of safety. She's also going to areas where she hides the cub regularly and back into the sort of central parts of her territory. She was right up in the northeastern part of her territory, and so she's now taking that cub back into the center where she knows that's her area and it's a point of safety. And that's probably why she's moving in this sort of section, and why we've seen her moving so much this morning, is that she's just dragging everything back to where she feels a lot more comfortable with her little one. But where she's going now is going to be an impenetrable fortress, so hopefully she's going to turn and come back towards the road so that the little cub can join her again, because if she goes into there, unfortunately that's going to be our morning finished with Shadow. It's so dense in there, and there's a very steep drainage section inside there that makes it quite difficult to follow Leopard. But isn't it amazing how she blends in? Look at that. It's almost impossible to see her. Now, we're going to just see where Shadow goes, because I'm hoping that she's going to settle down a little bit and the cub will catch up with her, and we'll be able to get some of those sort of tender moments of her and cub grooming. And so while we do that, let's go back to Ali and let's see what she has to say about this imaginary lion now. Indeed, look at Shadow. She's now trying to get her disobedient child to come to where she is, so she's busy contact calling, and I can't see where the little one is at this stage. It was last on that termite mound, but there we go, little chuffing sounds. And if that doesn't listen to the chuffing sounds, then you'll find she'll start to vocalize more. There we go. Hopefully that little one will come bounding out and towards her, but she's come back quite a long way from where she was when we last saw her, back towards that termite mound where she left the cub, and now she's calling quite heavily for it. She even made a big territorial kind of call just now, and then since then there's been lots of chuffing and lots of little small vocalizations, should I say, to try and get the cub to come back to where she is. It's so nice to actually listen to her doing it. Now let's hope she'll do it again. There we go. Now for us that is very, very soft, but for that little cub she'll hear it, and she'll then know that's Mom calling and come bounding down towards her. So she just has to keep going for a little bit and the cub will eventually arrive. But Shadow, you are looking beautiful, my girl. There we go. Look in front, Zeb. There we go. Isn't that amazing, guys? How sweet is that? Isn't that amazing? Oh, that is the sweetest moment. I don't know. I honestly have not seen this cub enough to know. This is only the second time that I've actually seen it and spent time with it. Well, in fact, sorry, I've seen it 3 times, but this is only the sort of second time that I've actually spent a decent amount of time with the cub. But we can see there that it's a 3-3 spot pattern, so 3 on the top right and then 3 on the left. And well, from today, I would hope that the amount of sort of visuals we've had would mean that we will be able to form a nice ID kit on this little individual. And look, it's got Mom's tail between its paws. Isn't that cute? That's amazing. Very, very cool sighting of these two. Now hopefully Shadow's going to lie down right there and we'll get the 2 of them just having a morning break. It's now the time that you would want to take an illegal photo if there was ever a time, so maybe we should try and just do one quickly. What do you think, Seb?
Fully agree with you.
Fully agree.
It's about
too much cuteness not to. I agree, Seb. No. You see, they heard that I was going to take an illegal photo, and that's why they then disappeared off before I could get it. Oh well. It's okay. It's the way things go. Oopsie. Is Mom not happy now? Maybe that's what happens when you ignore Mom for so long. You get a little bit of a shouting at. see the tails going. She's not happy. She knows that the cub is here, but she's not happy that the cub came to try and swat at her. And so she got a little bit of a hiding back. And Mum's probably got a bit of pent-up frustration from having to call her for so long. And that's why we ended up with that little situation that we got now. But it does look like Shadow's going to lie down, which hopefully means the cub will come closer as well. And we'll be having a sort of moment of peace this morning and a little bit more stationary sighting, because it's been a morning of just walking all morning long. Yes, we're talking about you. Are you cross with your child? But Shadow has been an absolute champion today in that she hasn't been in any way aggressive with us. She often gets this bad reputation that she can be sometimes a little bit on the aggressive side, and she'll growl and hiss at people, and it just shows you, if you give her a bit of space and you let her do her thing, that she's actually such a beautiful, relaxed individual, and never actually had too many problems with Shadow. I've had once where she growled at us, and it was just because we came around the corner and she was coming the opposite direction, and we kind of got a bit close to her. But other than that, she's always been quite a relaxed leopard, not like her sister. Tundi gets to be a little bit more growly than what Shadow is, and so she's been an absolute treat this morning. She's really given us a quality show, and I hope all of you have enjoyed it as much as I have. And maybe it's time for a one-word tweet as to how you've enjoyed this sighting, or what this sighting has brought to you in terms of feelings or emotions or anything like that, because I think it's probably one of the longest sightings we've had of this little cub in the time that it's been alive. So one word tweet, #SafariLive, as to how this sighting makes you feel. Seb, what about you?
Epic.
Epic. That was one that I would have gone with as well. It has been an epic sighting, that's for sure. It's been an epic morning, a beautiful sunrise and lots of sort of hope, and then the disappointment of the tracks looking like they were going into Arathusa, and then coming back again and finding the two of them and watching them play and move around definitely has been very, very epic indeed. Now I think the little cub got the message and has not come back since then. I'm sure it's just lying off to the right hand side in the long grass here, and Shadow looks as though she's definitely going to start having a nap now. I'm not surprised. The sun is getting quite high. It's starting to get a little bit warmer, and given that they did have a meal last night, I would imagine they're both quite full, and so it would be a perfect place just to find some shade and now rest. This is the area that Shadow just loves. She's always around this section, and why she's notoriously difficult to find in this area is, as we've seen with her following her, is that she likes to zigzag, and she often just crosses straight over roads. So when you're driving along, generally when we try and look for tracks while we're driving, we'll try and spot footprints that move almost linear with us, and so go in front of us, but sometimes they just cross over, and that's when we miss them quite easily, like I did on the power lines. Roshni, you say joy for your one-word tweet. Well, I think that's a perfect way to describe our situation that we've had. It has been a joyous occasion to follow these two around, and the little cub in particular seems as though it's been full of beans this morning and full of joy, jumping around and playing, although it did just get a little hiding now and a little talking to, so maybe it's now knows that it's time to go and sit in the corner and take it a little bit easy and stop being full of nonsense. So maybe its joy is not so full at this stage. Shannon, you have 3 words for your one-word tweet, and you say overload of cuteness. Well, indeed, that little one has been as cute as you could imagine this morning. Literally has been bouncing all over the place. It's been running, it's been jumping, it's been playing, and it really has been amazing to see how much it's progressed in terms of its sort of relaxedness with the vehicles. The last time I saw this little cub, it was scampering away from every vehicle that it saw, and it was really quite nervous, whereas this morning it's been very playful, very brazen. You could see it came right out, no more than I would say 10 meters from the front of the car, and was lying down and watching us, and really didn't matter too much. So it definitely has become a lot more confident, and that means that we've been allowed to see these amazing views of this little one playing around, and it certainly has been very cute. But I definitely think this is it for the day. I think this is where they're going to lie down and take it easy. So Courtney, you asking whether or not Shadow misses the sight or smell of her mother Karula? Most definitely not. So She will not miss it in any way whatsoever, because once she was kicked out by Kruger became a competition to her. So she became a female that would compete for mating rights, compete for territory, compete for food resources, and the interactions between them then became a lot more aggressive. There was no love between them. There was no sort of, you're my mom, so I'm going to come and cuddle up to you every time I see you. That doesn't happen in a leopard's world. Once they separate and break that bond is separated. They no longer see each other as mom and daughter, but more as competition. And so no, she doesn't miss the fact that Karula's around, or not around anymore, or not scent marking. She will go, and she's actually going to take advantage of the fact that she's not smelling Karula, and probably be quite happy of the fact that she can then take more territory. So for her, it's not missing Karula at all. She won't really be too phased by it. Not like Shongile, that will definitely be missing Karula's presence because of the fact that she's a much younger leopard. Now, little Shadow and Cub are still taking it very easy, and so I want to see if the little Cub will come out, and we're going to spend probably a little bit longer with them. And while we do that, let's go all the way back to Scotty Dyson and see how he's faring in the far east. Well, indeed, because something strange had happened. Shadow went from sleeping to up and calling full out, and the cub ran for its life, got a big fright, and now she's walking along and vocalizing heavily. So I don't know what disturbed her. We've tried to look around. I can't see anything. But you can see she's calling. Something agitated her completely out of nowhere. She was fine, and all of a sudden she just started vocalizing a full territorial call. And we wonder if maybe she picked up the scent of another leopard. I don't know. She's calling the cub again. My girl, your cub got such a fright he ran about 4 kilometers the other way. Tail you can just see flicking in the bush there. I don't want to move too much because I want to give her a chance to get her cub back to her, because she's calling quite a lot now. Just hear that grunt growl in the bush every now and then. So, Julia, you're wondering how far away a leopard could smell a predator from. Well, Julia, it depends on, a lot of factors. It depends on the wind direction, how hard the wind is blowing, and all of these kind of things. Generally, though, they pick them up from quite far. It's quite amazing. I've watched lions once. hand side, so where she's looking now. To get in front of them. And I was talking earlier about where the lions killed the zebra, and you can see in front of me, this is exactly where it was. There's the sort of stomach content for the zebra as we go around. That's where the zebra was killed. So it could be that that's maybe freaking her out a little bit, and that's why she's making these big sort of vocalizing calls. I didn't expect her to be making at all. She looked as though she was so settled for the day, and all of a sudden she just got upset and sort of started calling and called the cub, and everybody sort of got a bit of a panic. Now, where have you gone? They were somewhere right here. Seb, can you see them? Now, of course, if she's laid down, there's the mound, and they were walking this way. So if she's laid down, can you see them? Ah, there they are. Okay, I've got them now. I was just taking it a bit slow because I didn't want to sort of drive into them too quickly, particularly with this squeaking Rusty that we've got this morning. But look at how beautiful this is. Look at this in that lovely long white grass. Isn't that pretty? The two of them just kind of walking along. And the grass is such a nice colour. And there's a big termite mound. Hopefully she's going to go lie up on the mound, and that's going to be the end of the drama. Right, now I'm going to try and keep up with them because there's a big termite mound, and I hope that they're going to go on top of there. So while we do that, I believe Scott has got two of my favourite birds, and I'm a little bit jealous, but he's getting to see them. Now starting to go back the direction we've been travelling all morning. So we've been going south all morning, now we're going straight north again. So I have no idea where she's taking us or where she's taking this cub, but wherever it is, it's back the way we just came. So let's see how we go. It's really cute to watch the two of them walk side by side down the road. The little one's still a little bit nervous of the car, and so that's why we're keeping quite a sort of big distance between them at this stage, because I just don't want to chase them off the road. So I'm giving them a nice long gap and allowing them to kind of just trot down the road together and getting this little cub used to us following them. Of course, it would be nice if Rusty started to keep quiet and stopped squeaking, because that would help a little bit, but well, beggars can't be choosers, and we can't change anything right now. We'll have to wait until we get back to the workshop. So HA, you say Rusty living up to his name. Well, yes, indeed, he is. And I think it's because we've lost all our brake fluid, and that means that the brakes, I think, have clamped together and have caused a little bit of a squeak to develop, and it will all calm down eventually. It'll sort of, once we get brake fluid back in and get everything sorted out, it will be fine. And Rusty will be back to the way we started drive, which was quiet. And thankfully it will be that way, because my ears, I don't think, would be able to take much more of driving a Rusty like this. It really is quite difficult to actually deal with that squeaking. It's like nails on a chalkboard. It's one of those horrible sounds. And it's weird. If you were driving around without sighting, you would be like, you wouldn't really be too stressed about it. But what has happened there now? I don't know. Shadow's ears flattened, although she's now rubbing against the tree, but what happened? I don't know if maybe the cub went in front of her to where she wanted a scent mark, but her ears flattened as though she had sort of You see, she's now growling as well. What are you growling about? I don't know, she's being grumpy now. Maybe the little cub made her grumpy. But so cool to see. It's one of the best sights in the world when you're driving down a road and that's what you see in front of you. It is so special to see that kind of walking along the road or walking towards you. Either one is as good as it gets. Where's the little one now? Oh, there's little one. Just see its ears poking up at the bottom of the tree. There you come. You better catch up with Mom, otherwise you're going to be in trouble. Off you go. Super cute. I reckon that they unfortunately are not going to be on our side by this afternoon. I thought if they were going to sleep where they did that we would have a chance. But I think what they're going to do is they're going to walk to Impala Plains and then they're going to go to Red Dam. You're going to see she's going to cut off close to that termite mound is what I think is going to happen. So let's see. You can see there she goes on just on the left side of that termite mound. Now the road does bend that way, but I think she's going to start heading towards Red Dam because that's the nearest water that I can think of from here. And if that's where she's going, well, that's where she needs to head. Although she's going up onto the mound now in the shade. Let's see. Just going to stay quite far back because I want to get the little cub close to Mom. Oh, and it just looks like she's lying down, I think, on the mound itself. Hopefully that's going to be the case. Come on, Rusty. Shh. It's not helping my incognito sort of advance towards the cub. So, Lara Moore, you're asking if Shadow could be in estrus. Well, I don't think so. We know that Shadow sometimes does mate quite early when it comes to her cubs. We've had situations where she's been mating with Sindile when he was just about a year old. But I mean, this little cub is only 6 months, so I don't think so. I don't think it is of age yet that Shadow will be in estrus. I think she's just had a tough day and she's had this little cub following her around. She's dealt with hyenas, she's dealt with lions, and so, well, I think she's just in a bit of a grumpy mood this morning. Also now with us following her with the squeakiness, I don't think she's really going to be that happy about having to hear our sort of squeaky brakes all the time. And so now that she's cut off the road, if the cub goes and follows her, who is inside there somewhere, oh, there he is, once the cub follows, then we are going to let them go and carry on their morning. But she's heading straight towards Arethusa, so I don't think we're going to find her this afternoon. And like I say, once this cub comes down the hill and trots off after Mom, I'm going to leave them there because I think we've had an absolutely magical morning with them, and I don't want to push our luck any further. And with the squeaky brakes that we've got, I don't want to really irritate her much more than she is already. I just want to quickly update the guys that are just driving on Triple M. Station on Triple M, come in for Tristan. Station on Triple M, come in for Tristan. Yeah, if there's a station that's on Triple M south of the transformer, Shadow and Cub are mobile now towards that area. I can see a vehicle from where I am. They're still quite deep in here, but they are heading towards Triple M north. Go ahead, Shanae. Just stand by there. Maybe go a little bit forward. Shadow's mobile that way. Cub's still stationary where you saw me. So we're just letting Shanae know that they're going that way. The little one is still stuck in his tree. He's not going anywhere at this stage, and you can see he's got himself well wedged inside there. So, I don't think, come on. I think he's trying to build up the courage to come out near us without Mom. I think he's going to go down the backside of this mound. There we go. Pretty sure we'll see him popping out around the backside and sort of coming in that direction. Let's see, Seb. I'm sure we're going to get a little curious face popping around this mound shortly, and then a run to the left. I wonder. You can hear leaves and things. Where are you, little one? Now, which side of the mound is the next question? I was thinking left side of the mound, but nothing as yet. I don't see anything on the right side either. It's like a guessing game with this one. And I don't want to start now because Shadow is far already. She's gone quite a long distance away, and so I don't want to start and cause this little one to panic in any way and try run the wrong direction. So we're just going to have to be patient and let the little one come out on its own accord. Now, I'm going to let the little one come out and let it go around to Mom, and like I say, we're going to leave them there and let them carry on with their morning. So while we do that, let's go back to Ali and see whether or not she's had any more signs for this mystery male lion.